Okay, this segment we're gonna take off from where we left off last time. We're now going to install the image that we captured, and again, booting from the network, starting Windows pre-execution. Actually, just go straight to install this time. Loading the same pre-execution environment, running a slightly different script this time, so instead of stopping to allow the capture, it goes straight into install. So this initializing the drivers. Initializing the drivers, okay. Pinging the server, found it, and now mounting the share. And setup starts immediately. So this is just a standard setup. Don't have the thing. I know it's Pro on this one. So you can see the two images in that WIM file. Now we're going to install it legacy this time. And it kicks off, copying the Windows file across the network. So we'll pause it here because nothing very much happens until the first reboot. So this is a pretty big image, so the you'll see the getting files ready for installation starts slow and continues not much faster. So back in a minute. Okay, so this is after the first reboot, and you can see it's getting the devices ready. This is because the golden image, the master image that we installed, was on a Dell Precision, and this is a laptop. Okay, so it just carries on, and then we get the desktop. Okay, so here's the desktop, and as you can see, all the applications have come over. The menu still doesn't have tiles, and we're still not getting the weather forecast in the bottom line. But the next thing to do is to check the drivers. So we'll start Device Manager, have a look at the drivers, and right, so there's one here that wasn't found during the install. Now, usually what we do is, I mean, you can look at it, it's ACP SMO 8810. So you can look that up with Google and find out what it is, but quicker really is just to see whether Windows Update can help us. So what we do is go to Windows Update, and okay, we could check for updates, it's a bit of a waste of time, but there's the same quality update that was available when we captured the image. So we're going to have a look at optional updates. Alright, well, we don't want to do that, but what we do want to do, we don't want to do this Windows update, but what we do want to do is look for drivers. There's no harm in actually installing them, they don't take long. Not really sure a Dell monitor's quite what we need, but right, now here's a funny one. So that's usually an accelerometer, which is the sort of thing that that unknown device could be. So I bet you that's the one. Xeon. This isn't a Xeon. It's a, Core. Backlit monitor. It's not an HP. That's probably okay. Another Xeon. Alps mouse. Intel display. Never know. System. Other hardware. Why not? And we just download and install. Driver's usually pretty quick. Which one's it downloading now? None of them. Okay. Just wanted to wait for it to actually start downloading and installing. but it's still thinking about it. Okay, well there you go. Now where was that STM pending install? Okay, looks like it's waiting for that one. Can only have one install working at a time. Notice the device manager is now flashing. Oh, and it's installed it in pending restart, but actually you can see that all the drivers are now present and correct. So it did find it fairly easily. There's multiple other ways of finding the drivers. If, for instance, if we had a network adapter that didn't know the driver properly. Bluetooth device, personal network. Okay, so with the driver you could update the driver and browse my computer for drivers. You'll notice that actually the master image, something I didn't show you at the time, is looking on the server for install 10 drivers. And in there is where we put the oddballs, the ones that can't be found with Windows Update. I'd have to say a thing about Windows Update is that you can, if it didn't find it the first time and you've installed all the ones, you can view optional updates a second time, and sometimes you find additional ones that weren't there the first time around, so you can install those. Now, how we get the drivers into this share is something we'll come on to another time, because drivers are an issue with Windows pre-execution environment as well, and it's the same drivers. PXE is the same as Windows 10, the operating system. The firmware does have its own set of drivers, but they're completely different. And if there's a missing driver in the firmware, it means it won't be able to read the network or possibly the USB. So we'll come on to that next, and talk to you then. Bye.